Hello, this is the usability report for my web portfolio for my degree program at the University of Missouri. My evaluation and research questions are: what are the issues that prevent users from accomplishing their goals? What features work well for users? What features need to be improved? This website was tested using the single ease question, the system usability scale, time on task, task completion rate, and additional comments provided by the participants. The system usability score is 86.7, which falls into the acceptable range of a score over 70. This test identified problems, and the report contains recommendations for the improvement of the site immediately and further steps for future improvement. There were several problems uncovered. Number 1 was problems in the names of menu links. Number 2, there was no cross-linking items from the resume. And 3, there were problems in navigating from the resume overview to the full resume. These were the tasks. 1 was to find a list of courses and read the course description. 2 was to find the professional development plan. 3 was to find the experience on the resume. 4 was to find the experience on the resume or coursework. And 5 was to find an artifact. These are the user satisfaction results. All tasks had an average ease of use above 5. Task 1, which was find a list of courses and 1 course description, had the widest range and the lowest score. On the system usability scale, individual scores ranged from 75 to 100, all in the acceptable range, and the overall score is 86.7, which is also in the acceptable range. For the task completion rate, 0 equals failure, a score of 1 means the task was completed with difficulty, and a score of 2 means the task was completed without difficulty. Tasks 1, 2, and 5 had a 100% completion rate. Task 3, which was find experience, and Task 4, which was find experience or coursework, were not completed by 1 participant. Task 1, find a list of courses and 1 course description, had the lowest number of success points. And these are the results for time on task. All times are in seconds. The tasks average between 27 seconds for find an artifact and 85 seconds for find a list of courses and course description. Task 2, find the professional development plan, had the smallest range in times. Task 4, find the experience or course, had the widest range of times. Here are the recommendations for Task 1. Change the menu length from programs to courses. The justification being that this had the lowest success points, the lowest average ease of use, and one of the highest average completion times. The wording of the tab was also mentioned in the questions at the end. Recommendations for Task 2. Link the professional development plan from the resume. Although this task had the biggest range of times and was mentioned in the comments as being slightly confusing, the overall completion range and user satisfaction were acceptable. Consider linking from the text in the introduction paragraph on the main page. And I will also check in Canva, which is what I use to create the professional development plan, to see if the media can load a little quicker, because that was also mentioned in the comments at the end. Recommendations for Task 3. Add instructions for the button to click for the full resume. This task had 1 person who didn't complete it, but it had a high ease of use score. Users were able to find it and find the information. The accessible PDF seemed to confuse people, and they clicked on it thinking it was the full resume, so instructions at the top for the button that says full resume might help. Recommendations for Task 4. There were none, and the justification is the task had 1 person who didn't complete it, but it did have a high satisfaction rate, and users were able to complete the task quickly. Recommendations for Task 5. Change the button from artifact to project. I'm not going to change this immediately because it's a requirement for this course, but in the future, if I were to use this for a professional portfolio, the word artifact might confuse people, so project might be better there. Limitations. There was not a diverse range of participants. Most were between the age of 40 and 65, so different age groups, still keeping within the education field, different demographics might be better suited. And a second test administrator would have helped to capture more user responses. I couldn't pick up on the subtle nuances of their facial expressions because I was too busy tracking time on task and all of that stuff. Okay, the next steps immediately, and actually I've already changed these. Add instructions to click the button for the full resume. Number 2 is on the resume page, link the professional development plan on the resume. I did that. And on the home page, link the resume, professional development plan, and courses. Little quick links to get there if they don't want to look at the menu. And next steps in the next 3 months, as I said, I'm going to transition this over to a professional portfolio and away from that being my school portfolio. So I'm going to change the menu link name from program to courses. And in the accordion on the class description, I have it set to open, and it only closes when you open another course. I want to figure out the coding to set it to open and close because that's what a user expects, and several of my users expected that. And it didn't happen, but it didn't confuse them too much. And once I've completed the program, change the button for artifact to project. I still need to go through and make sure all the PDFs are accessible and add captions to the accessibility video and the usability summary video. And I'd like to create an engaging video for my homepage as sort of an introduction. So that is the usability test for my portfolio.